I think I've said this on the channel before, but I can be interested in pretty much anything a person can possibly be interested in. And so with that, I've had way too many hobbies, way too many to keep up with, and so a lot of them just fall to the side naturally. In high school, my biggest hobbies were playing music, theater, and computers. This was the phase of my life where all of my hobbies were pretty much based off of the clubs that I was in at school. I initially joined any clubs because I wanted to meet new people, and each individual club had their own perks for me joining them. Each of them I was at least minorly interested in before, but I got into theater because my sisters were both in it. I got into music because I already played music and I already had a few friends that were in the music program. And I did computers because it was the thing that at that time I was thinking I would probably study in college and use for my career. But really I might not have joined any of them if I didn't want to meet new people or have new friends. In college I'd say my hobbies were still based off of the clubs that I was in, and they were mostly the same, to be honest. I already had experience in all these things, and so I just joined clubs that were similar to ones that I knew well. I'd say computer was more of a main focus than a hobby at this point because I was actually majoring in it. What was a bit different though was the newspaper. This was something that I hadn't really done before at all. I joined the newspaper initially because I wanted to have a new work study. I was working in the cafeteria my freshman year and I wanted to have something that was slightly more interesting. It's weird because I never really cared about newspapers very much, and even to this day, I don't really care about newspapers too much. And the news, I would say that I care about that a little bit, but I care about it more than I wish I cared about it. I have the least amount of relationship with the product of that hobby than any other hobby I think I've ever had. But what interested me in it mostly was, again, people and the process of making the product. This was a way that I could flex my writing muscles in a way that people would actually like read and see. And writing was something that I had always been interested in, but I don't think I would ever have called it a hobby until college. But I joined the newspaper specifically because it had people that I knew in it and I wanted to hang out with them more. So I think that my hobbies have always been tied to my connection with the people that have been interested in them. I think I probably told you guys about that gamer bar that I go to on Wednesdays. And before I started going, I really had no interest in video games at all, and now I would say that I have a much more vested interest in them. I wouldn't say I'm a gamer or anything, but I'm much more interested now in gaming culture than I ever have been before. I recently bought the game Stardew Valley, and I've been following really closely the new Pokemon game that's coming out later this year, and just in general, my thoughts have been taken up a lot more by games than they used to be. I think I'm less likely to become a gamer than to just enjoy games more now, but that's something that I really like about going from hobby to hobby. I can actually feel the reasons that people are interested in these hobbies. I feel like listening to Dear Hank and John is a good example too because I'm more interested now in sports than I ever have been in my entire life. And the sports team I'm most invested in is a third tier English soccer club. And that's super weird, but it's also a lot of fun. My most recent hobby that I've started is I've been going to a game shop once a week for the past few weeks, for about the past month, playing Dungeons and Dragons. That's again something I did because I wanted to meet more people around the area. And all of them are interesting people that I probably would have never met if I hadn't gone, but I really enjoy hanging out with them.